Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing this evening? I am so glad that I got to come on. I was worried about being able to come on and share with you this evening about empathy because we had some tornado warnings in the area. So I hope everyone is safe and no one experienced any harm, any property damage, and definitely no lives lost. So let me jump into what I wanted to share with you. Do you ever feel like when you're having a conversation with someone or you're in a group of people, whether it's at work or at home or even with your group of girlfriends, do you ever feel like you're in a is it me or them situation? Are you the person that gets real defensive real fast when you're trying to get your point across because you're not being understood? Think about it for a second. Well, if you are, it could be because you have a very low level of empathy. A lot of us do not understand empathy. We don't know where it begins. We don't know how to even approach it, nonetheless, how to teach ourselves or go seek that knowledge. You see, empathy is about being able to see through someone else's eyes, to see things through another person's eyes, to literally step in their shoes and experience what they're seeing, what they're experiencing. It's not being sympathetic, oh, I'm sorry to hear that you're going through that, sis. No, that's sympathy. Empathy is like picking up a book and being able to take on the feelings and the emotions of the character in that book. Yeah, that's empathy. And that's a desirable trait that a lot of us do not have. Now, it can be learned, but you have to be willing to put in the work. And I tell you something else, people who are empathetic generally are a whole lot more happier than those who are very low when it comes to empathy. So remember earlier when I asked you if you found yourselves in those situations where is it me or them? Because you struggle in your relationships when you lack empathy. You generally have trouble seeing and understanding other people's points of view. Am I talking to you? Am I talking to anyone? Does anybody experience that? You wonder why relationship after relationship, there's this tension, there's this pull, there's this struggle. And in the beginning, you're like, oh, I don't have time for that. They don't deserve me. You move on to the next relationship. You see a common theme and pattern, not realizing it's because you're low on empathy. Your empathy's low, or it doesn't exist. How about this? If people don't agree with you when they refuse to act or speak or think in the way that you think they should, there's this opposition. There's a force. And it's nothing wrong with what you're saying or what they're saying. But you have empathy is about being able to open your heart and hear with your heart. When you lack empathy, it is basically like you are emotionally immature, right? That absence of empathy. Think of it this way. When you think about a toddler or a preschooler, right? When you are a toddler, if you're a 2 or 3 years old kid going around, you think that the world revolves around you. Like you're the little princess, you're the prince, because you haven't learned empathy yet. So when things don't go your way as a toddler, what happens? They're screaming, they're crying, they're losing control, emotions are all over the place, right? But they're three. So we're seeing this in adults and they good and grown. And you see what the lack of empathy looks like in an adult, right? People who lack empathy, it's like you have a welcome sign on your shirt or on your forehead just saying, I welcome conflict. I'm looking for conflict. Hey, conflict over here. Most of the time, these people are very strong-willed. You have a very strong-willed personality, very self-centered. And this is not to attack you or condemn you or come against you. It's just to tell you you can learn how to be empathetic. It's not about attacking. It's just to share with you you have trouble understanding things in different ways. You got to learn how to live, how to conduct yourself. So instead of you doing that, you want to argue a little bit more. You want to win at all costs, right? People who lack empathy are a little bit more emotionally isolated. No fault of their own. Have trouble listening, understanding the thoughts and feelings of other people. And they can come across as they're self centered, that they're not caring, that they don't know how to express themselves. And it's just they are not emotionally capable yet, because it's learnable, right? So their minds are so involved with themselves that they don't know how to respond in any other way except for being negative. But guess what? This can change. Why? Because you can learn empathy. Open your heart, listen with your heart, hear with your heart. Learn to listen and feel what other people are saying, what they're going through. The same way you can go pick up a book and lose yourself in that book. My own personal experience growing up, I love to read. Love, love, love to read. I found myself always escaping in books. I had a rough upbringing. My escape was writing and reading. I love to read because I can become any character that I want in that book. I was able to relate, put myself in their shoes. That's what empathy is about, being able to put yourself in someone's shoes and understand. Just imagine how much more peace and joy and understanding and forgiveness there would be in the world, not just in your homes, in your relationships, in your families, but in the world if there was more empathy towards one another. If you need help with empathy, I want to help you. Register for my virtual cruise event at bit.ly/love cruise. Hurry up and register. I only have 10 seats left, and I want you to be there. The event's Sunday, March 28th, this coming Sunday at 7. It's a virtual cruise. And if you like to cruise like I do, pre-COVID, why not come aboard and enjoy this virtual experience and learn about empathy?